Number 1. Danta Wright. This is 17-year-old Danta Wright. He is in court today and is charged with the murder of high school student Jordan Klee. He pleaded guilty to armed robbery, conspiracy to commit armed robbery, a felony firearm violation, and second-degree murder. During the victim's family statement, Danta smiled and shook his head repeatedly.
Don't get the luxury of raising your child because you took mine away.
This was Danta's reaction to the family statement.
I'll be home soon, R.I.P. Keon, I love my family.
That's all you got to say.
The cold and remorseless reaction took everyone by surprise, even the judge.
Sit there, smile and laugh and shake your head like this was no big deal.
However, the judge then says something that ultimately makes Danta's smile disappear in seconds.
I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go to trial, and if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there.
This means that Danta would face a stiffer punishment when found guilty by the jury. Luckily for Danta, the victim's family decided to continue with the plea deal.
They want to try and forgive this defendant, even though all of his actions.
Danta was sentenced to 25 to 52 years in prison. Number 2. Alan McCarty. This is Alan McCarty, who was charged and arrested after allegedly threatening to kill a judge in a child custody case he lost.
Yeah, I want to report a crime that's about to happen.
What do you mean a crime that's about to happen?
He was so angry that he even threatened to kill the judge.
Where's your judge warrant at? You gonna bring that out in handcuffs and I'm gonna execute that son of a bitch right in the street.
A year later, his trial began, and this is how it went.
I'm not under oath. Quit wasting my time and bring him in so I can tell him the same thing. Quit wasting my time.
His temper tantrums towards the judge continued into the court hearings, which led to him being removed from the room.
Stand up! I'm not standing. I don't have to stand.
He is transferred to a different room where he can observe the court through a one-way glass. But even this didn't stop him from causing a commotion.
Can you hear me in the back room?
He was sentenced to 20 years in prison with an additional 10-day sentence because of his behavior in court. Number 3. Bryce Rhodes. This is Bryce Rhodes. He is convicted of a triple murder in Louisville, Kentucky. Rhodes was found guilty of killing 3 men in May 2016 in what authorities described as a brutal and senseless crime. Rhodes started his killing spree when he shot and murdered an innocent man after confusing him for someone else. The victim was shot, and his body was left in an abandoned house in Louisville. 2 brothers, aged 14 and 16, were in the car when Rhodes committed the murder. Because they were witnesses to the crime, they were killed as well. Bryce was described as being disruptive and uncooperative in court. He was reported to have outbursts during his trial and was even blowing kisses to the victim's family.
But then another part of it is, if we have a concern, what's the alternative? Because helping yourself.
Continue what you were saying.
I'm
allowed to smell.
I would suggest you do what helps you.
Everything that you made a motion for.
Are you a secret Ku Klux Klan member?
Trials have been ongoing for years as a result of Rhodes' bizarre behavior and him firing several lawyers. Bryce was finally found competent to stand trial last month. The victim's family will sadly have to wait for the outcome of the triple murder prosecution, which will now take place in December this year. Number 4. Michael Ray. The next defendant is Michael Ray. He is being charged with 4 charges, including criminal trespassing, second-degree assault, and making terrorist threats. The bond hearing started off calm, but less than a minute in, and Michael already gets angry about the amount they requested.
Cash behind all charges.
You think that's funny?
I think it's hilarious.
The prosecutors requested a $25,000 bond, and this doesn't sit well with Michael. His reaction, however, does him no good, and the prosecutors double the amount to $50,000. And if this wasn't enough, he keeps throwing comments making the bond worse and worse.
The bond is $50,000. No bail credit, danger to community. Thinks these are funny charges.
He then walks off, but a few moments later walks right back in to receive some more charges.
100 days to serve.
100 days to serve? Okay.
Yeah.
What started off with 4 charges ended up with 10. Number 5. Amanda Cosell. Next is 25-year-old Amanda Cosell. She is in the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice in Detroit, Michigan. Amanda has been found guilty of driving under the influence, which led to a head-on accident killing 31-year-old Jerome Zerker and severely injuring his fiancée Brittany. During the emotional statement of the victim's family, Amanda appears to be remorseful.
Amanda, look what you did to my life.
However, Amanda's mother, Donica South, keeps smirking in the courtroom and was eventually asked to leave the room.
Here at a tragic moment like this and laugh and smile when somebody has lost a family member.
A few moments later, she is taken into custody for disruptive and disrespectful behavior.
And you, ma'am, are going to the Wayne County Jail for 93 days for direct criminal contempt.
The trial continued, and Amanda is sentenced to 3 to 15 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections, of which she only needed to serve 3. As for her mother, she had spent the night behind bars and is brought before Judge Lillard the following morning.
I deeply apologize for what I did. I was under a lot of stress.
It appears she has learned her lesson and was soon after released. Number 6. Daryl Brooks. This is Daryl Brooks. He was found guilty of killing 6 people and seriously injuring dozens of others after ramming his SUV into a Christmas parade in Wisconsin. According to reports, Brooks reached a speed of over 30 miles per hour while driving recklessly. The prosecution claimed that Brooks's killing spree was intentional. Following his arrest and court appearance, Brooks made the decision to represent himself in court. This is how it went.
Your life is not on the line. Mine is. And you think that I think this is funny?
I don't.
As you can see, this didn't go smoothly at all. Brooks was repeatedly removed from the courtroom during the trial due to his frequent interruptions and outbursts. He even began to laugh during a witness testimony.
Afternoon, rather than wait through the morning?
I don't want to say who it is.
Can we pull up Exhibit 5 for the witness, please?
But he also got angry at times. In the following scene, Brooks decides to have a stare down with the judge.
As the dwelling from 2006.
Right, I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared.
Brooks was eventually found guilty of all 76 charges against him and was sentenced to 6 life sentences and 700 additional years in prison. Number 7. Spencer Boston. This is Spencer Boston. He is facing charges of speeding and marijuana possession. When he reaches the bench in front of the judge, he's making a brief statement about the nature of marijuana and the injustice of the law.
Yes, sir. I think it's very unfair, the marijuana law here. I think we the people deserve better.
The judge, however, wasn't feeling it and cut him down.
I've heard that baloney all my life, so don't go any further on that.
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether it's good or bad.
They continued the session. But when the judge attempts to set up a hearing date, Boston takes out a joint and suddenly lights it up. He is escorted out by a court official, and the judge adds one more charge of marijuana possession to his existing charges. He also got 2 other new charges, one for disorderly conduct and one for contempt of court. What do you think of the cases in this video? Did these convicts deserve the punishment they got? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Press the bell icon and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.